Hello students, we're going to learn section P.2, Cartesian coordinate system. So again, this is a review from geometry. What we're going to do here is we're going to plot these points and locate them. So 2, 7, we go to the x-axis first, 2, and then the y-axis. So 2, 7. So here is A. And we also know that in this, when we have the x-axis and y-axis, it breaks up into 4 quadrants. This is known as quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, and quadrant 4. So A is in quadrant 1. B, 3, 0, so again, x, then y. So here's the x, 3, and 0, we don't move up or down. That's it. So that's B. So B is not on a quadrant, it's actually on the x-axis. So that's the location. C, -2, 4. There is C, and this is in quadrant 2. -1, -3, -1, -3. So that's coordinate D, and that's in the 3rd quadrant. E, 0, 2, 0, start off on the x-axis, 2. So that's coordinate E, and that is on the y-axis. -4, 0 is F. So go to the x-axis, -4, 0. So that's F. That's on the x-axis. 1, -5, 1, -5. That is G, and that's in the 4th quadrant. 0, -2, that is H, and that is in the, it's not on a quadrant, so it's on the y-axis. And point I, 0, 0, so that's not on a quadrant, and it's both on the x and the y-axis, and this is what we call the origin. So we plotted the points and we gave the location of each point. Again, a review of geometry. Alright, so in example 2 it says evaluate. 2 minus the absolute value of -2. Bring down the 2, the minus, the absolute value of -2 is 2. So 2 minus 2 is 0. Remember, absolute value is the distance from 0. So if this is -2, how many steps is that away from 0? It's 2 steps. So absolute value is the distance from 0. So this is -7. The absolute value of 14 is 14. Please do not think of opposites. The absolute value of 14 is 14. That means it's 14 steps away from 0. All of this reduces to -1/2. All right, so example 3, rewrite the expression without the absolute value. So this is the absolute value of the square root of 5 minus 5/2. Since the absolute value is a distance, we have to make sure that the value is always positive. So what we did was I figured out 5/2, which is what? 2.5 minus the square root of 5. So the square root of 5 is roughly 2.236. And we know that 2.5 minus 2.236 will still be a positive value. So therefore, this is equivalent to this. Again, absolute value means we're talking about distance, and distance is always measured in positive units. If I had this switched around, we would have a negative value, and these two would not be equal. Okay, next. Find the distance. So the distance formula between 2 points is x2 minus x1 squared plus the quantity y2 minus y1 squared. What we're going to do is label x1, y1, and this is going to be x2, y2. Substitute these values into our formula. Again, this is from geometry. We'll have the square root of 41, which is roughly 6.403. If I don't say to round off to a certain number, go 3 digits to the right of the decimal. That's important because when you take calculus, you're always going to be asked to round off to 3 digits to the right of the decimal. Alright, example 5, it says find the midpoint. The midpoint formula is x1 plus x2 divided by 2 plus y1 plus y2 divided by 2. So we label x1, y1, x2, y2. We substitute all the information into the formula. And we end up with the midpoint between these 2 points is 2, -1. Find the standard form of a circle. The standard form of a circle is the following. The quantity x minus h squared plus the quantity y minus k squared equals r squared. Here is the center. Here is the radius. HK, those are the coordinates of the center. And that's the radius is 5. So we just substitute. H is -3, K is 2, and 5 is R. When we substitute, it's negative times a negative is a positive. So the quantity of x plus 3 squared plus the quantity of y minus 2 squared equals 25. So here's your standard form of a circle given the condition. Example 7, find the center and radius. So now they're asking us to do the reverse of what we did in example 6. So I noticed that 121 is equivalent to 11 squared. So there's our radius, there's our h, there's our k. So the center is, when you take it out of the standard form, it's the opposite sign. So opposite of a positive 4 is a -4. Opposite of a -2 is a positive 2. And the radius is 11. All right, thanks. Have a good day.